Good morning. Nothing like a Tuesday morning to get your Tuesday started. Okay, so what I wanted to do, let me show you real quick. I made a brush yesterday as part of a demo for class. Let me just come in and open it up. So it's this, it's an IMM brush. Well, it's going to be an IMM brush. Currently, it's just called an IMM brush. I don't know, it looks like it might not have been loaded in. Oh wait, nope. There it is. IMM Smartest Rope. Okay, so essentially what you do, you just click and you drag out, right? Just like any other curve brush. Okay, so this is the rope that I currently have. It's you can see by looking at the ends that it's a kind of a clover sort of shape. Okay, as a cross section, but this gives me a pretty decent looking rope. And I thought it looked nice for things like for a ship. Okay, it looked like it kind of got interrupted, like the feed got interrupted for a moment there. Hopefully I don't have too much of that. Anyway, but I essentially have all sorts of things that I can do with this rope. Kind of crazy. But I wanted to be able to go through and add in possibly an extra profile so that I can do extra things with this. Okay, because I mean this is a great rope profile, but it doesn't necessarily work for absolutely everything that I'm doing. Okay, so we'll get to creating that brush in a minute. The first thing I wanted to go through and do is kind of do this like quick little curves trick that I thought was really pretty neat. So I thought I'd share it. What I want to do, let's start by, I want to crease the edges of this so that I can subdivide it some and get a little bit of a, so I can crease the edges of this and be able to keep the nice round shape when I subdivide it. So we'll just call that good, hit crease, okay, and give it a few subdivisions. Maybe just two. We'll do that. Okay, so what I want to do, let's come over here. I just want to make sure that I only have the top face visible. And I'm going to come over here to stroke, curve functions, and then this frame mesh option gives you a lot of functionality. You can go through and what you can do is you can say, well, first off, you have this curve smoothness option, which is really cool. So that can help to help the curve to function independent to some extent of the actual shape of the geometry that you'll be framing. But what this will do is it gives me the option to be able to frame whatever mesh that I have. So I can frame the polygroups, I can frame the border, I can frame the creased edges. I'm just going to go ahead and turn that off. And actually, that might not have worked. Let's do this. Let's actually, instead of doing that, let's come over to polygroups. Since we do have multiple polygroups, let's hit frame mesh. So I don't know how easy it is to see, but we have a curve that's generated between the polygroups, both on the top and on the bottom. So now what we can do is that with our curve brush selected, we can just tap on that. We can't just tap on that. We need to delete our lower. We'll just tap on that. Let's turn off symmetry real quick. So we just tap on that, and we get these curves going around those exact places, those exact curves. Okay. Now, if we wanted to, you notice that like it's kind of just sitting there on the edge. Okay. Not much of an intersection there. So what I can do is I can come over to brush. If I go to depth, and I can play with this embed function. So if I bring this down to, say maybe take that down to 0, and I tap on that, it's going to be going into as if that edge of this cylinder is right in the middle of of that object, the curve, the rope. Okay, so now if I do a dynamic subdivision, we can look at that. And it's really kind of neat to be able to see, you know, this rope kind of going around the border. So now let's look at it from like a practical application. We can come over here. I'm just going to load in my Sphinx. Okay, Sphinx pose. I think this is the right one. So let's check it out. If it's not the right one, then we'll check out something else. It looks like it's not the right one. Interesting. Now I'm curious what happened to it. I might have to go ahead and do a search for it. In fact, I'll search this PC. I know you guys probably can't see this, but Sphinx base. That's so weird. Try that. Sphinx base instead. And hopefully this has, it looks like it does. It looks like this is all complete. Okay, so we're going to use this same technique. And well, I mean, I don't want to necessarily use that same rope to be able to outline this basket, but I do want to be able to, let's go through and turn off the different parts of the Sphinx here. It's because she's heavy. Select that. I just need to be careful that I don't make a piece invisible that I have actually selected, because then it's going to try to go through and make everything else hide, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. What's this one? Okay, that's the extra scroll. Okay, so let's do this now. Okay, so now that I have this, let's actually solo that out just for the sake of, let's try using this piece because I think that'll work better for my purposes. Okay, I'm just gonna try getting rid of that for now. Oh, not polygroups, just border. Okay, so you see now I got that open edge right there. All right. Oh, I've already got my curve brush turned on. I need to make sure that I don't have symmetry on. Perfect. And so we tap on that. Okay, let's come over here. Let's actually split this. And yeah, let's take this up. And look at that, and it's kind of cool. It's got an interesting idea to it. It just doesn't have the right look to it. So let me see if I can real quick let's go ahead and do a quick draw over, or a little bit of to get a little bit of an idea of what it is that I want to be able to accomplish with this. Oh, I don't want to. What I want is freehand. See if I can come over here, and it's kind of. Okay, I don't like that shape. This isn't a tool that I've ever actually used, so we're gonna have to see if I can get this to work in a nice way. That'll work. Okay. Let's use something a little bit. I guess we'll use this. Okay, so essentially what I want to do is, instead of having this rope look right here, I want it to look a little bit different. I want the cross section to be more of an oval sort of shape. Okay, and then on that oval, let's kind of do a little bit of a perspective drawing. Okay, I want this to have a little bit of a like a kind of a weave going over it. Okay, to feel like it's got kind of like this. I want this capability of it to feel like, you know, it's kind of pretend like that's filled in, like that's a hole. It's kind of sculpted back in. I don't know. Kind of interesting how that works. Anyway, so sorry, just bumped my microphone. But yeah, so I want it to still feel like it's got this this woven or wound sort of effect, but I want it to feel flatter. Okay, I want it to have more of this kind of semi-flat oval sort of effect, sort of shape. Okay, so let's try this. Let's go ahead and drag rectangle, turn off alpha. Oh snap. Let's go back to this. Okay. So this little guy right here, let's go ahead and delete that. And this is where we're going to go ahead and we're going to create the custom brush that we want. Okay, so I'm just going to select this, let's invert it, geometry, modify topology, delete hidden. Okay, so now we can go back to our original file we had open here. Let's go ahead and get rid of the frame mesh, and let's get rid of the divisions as well. Let's start back from a regular little cylinder guy right here. All right. It looks like the Facebook live feed has been interrupted, it says, so hopefully it's something that can start working again soon. Get a lot of problems with that, so maybe I need to find a new way to be able to live stream, or a better internet connection or something. We'll have to see. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's do this. So, what's the shape? What's the basic shape that I want? I want it to be flatter. Okay. So maybe let's go ahead and let's do this. We're gonna use my move tool. I'm gonna drag that out and just kind of flatten that out. Actually, now we're gonna want to wait to do that. Let's actually work on getting the actual rope shape that we're hoping for. Let's go into Z modeler, turn on polyframe. And what I want to do, let's go ahead, let's hit bevel, edge loop complete. I'm going to say 2 rows. I want to make sure that I can have that edge in the middle here. Okay. So far, so good. I'm just going to delete the, come on, let's go back to insert edge. Let's get rid of that one. Okay, I'm going to make sure that my perspective is turned off, just so I can make sure that I am looking directly over the top of it. I mask out the inside, And I'm just going to kind of scale that in. Okay, let's turn that polyframe back on. Okay, let's go ahead, let's crease these edges. So I'm just going to go ahead back into geometry. I'm going to go down to crease. I have my crease tolerance to 45, crease level to 3. Let's hit crease. Okay, so now when I go ahead and smooth preview that, there we go. It's getting more of a crease than I'd like it's creasing in too many different places. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and let's do, yeah, I just need the edge really. Get that, get that. Something more like that. Okay. I think what I want to do, let's come over here and actually not be spacebar. Let's insert single edge loop. Get rid of the dynamic subdivisions there. Actually, I want to mask these out. What I want to do, let's go over here, something like this. Okay, let's kind of mask those back out. See about getting kind of like that nice round sort of shape there. And I think that basic shape will probably work, but we're not gonna know until we find out. So let's find out. Okay, so I need to go through and add kind of this twist to it. Actually, real quick, let's keep it a little bit rounder for now, just until we get the divisions in there and the twist. Insert. Let's go multiple edge loops. I don't like that it makes that crease. I wish that I knew of a way to make sure that that didn't crease, but I can't figure out a specific, like any particular way that would be doable. So I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm just gonna Control W to make sure it's all one polygroup. I need to come through here and let's say crease edge loop complete, and I'm just gonna alt click on all these because I want them there. I just don't want. The other thing I could have done is I could have gone through over here and just uncrease all. Interesting. And then I could have come back in and just said crease for the. That would have been so much easier. It would have saved me some time, but oh well, whatever. It's not important. Okay, so now we've got our creases back. You know, we just want to make sure that we undo the creasing there. Okay, so now that we have this, okay, what we can do now is we can come over to deformation and we can start to give it a twist. Now the thing that you need to be watchful of, the thing you need to be careful of, and I'm wondering how well this is actually going to work. Okay, because this is only 2 bulbs right here. Okay. The thing is that you need this side to line up perfectly with this corner. I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. Okay, so let's go down here. We're gonna go to twist. I'm just gonna go ahead and, oops, need to make sure it's twisting in the right direction. Turn off Z, turn on Y. Okay, and then twist. You can see it's starting to twist the top and the bottom individual of each other. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that a few times. Okay, this should, in theory, yep. So now, right now, this bottom part is perfectly lined up with this top part. Okay, so now this is a different type of rope that we can go ahead and use. So I mean, we've got everything in its own polygroup. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, I'm just going to Control W, make a new polygroup on the top. Take this, Control W, new polygroup on the bottom. Okay, and technically we could have gone through and we could have, yeah, in fact, let's do it like that. Let's I'm gonna have mask the top and the bottom, and then Control W. That way they're both the same polygroup. And saving project file in progress. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now this is a different kind of rope that I can go ahead and I can use in my files. Now, in order to add this, in fact, those are going to have to be different polygroups in a minute, but this is something I want to go through and do real quick, is I want to take these and I want to inset polygroup all. Oh, but I want to make sure that I inset region. Okay, kind of inset that a little bit. Okay, so now I've got the same inset on the top and on the bottom. And I'm going to Q mesh. I'm going to do polygroup all. Okay, and instead of pulling out like this, I'm going to hold Shift to be able to kind of snap that up. So now I get more of a rounded sort of end, and that's a good thing. That's a good deal for me. Okay, so now I want to take this, uncrease the top, uncrease the bottom. Okay, I turn off the poly frame because I don't really need to see that. Well, I do for a second, I guess. Let's go ahead. Let's mask out the top, Control W. Mask out the bottom, Control W. And they're different polygroups. I mean, they look like they're pretty much the same, but yeah, they're different polygroups. Let's make it really different. Okay. So now that we have this, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select my Insert Multi-Mesh Smartest Rope. Okay. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say Create Insert Mesh. I'm going to say Append. Okay, because I had that brush selected, so it's going to add that to that brush. So I can come over here, I have that brush selected, I can hit M, and there are my different brushes that I can use. Okay. Oh, it's because I'm looking at it from the side. Let's do this over here. Okay, so now here is something that we need to kind of pay attention to. It's not welding yet. What I need to do is I need to go to brush. Let's go to modifiers. And in fact, let's kind of open this up. Just kind of dock this over here so that I can see it. I need to turn on weld points, stretch. This tri-part is already on. That means that it's taking the top part, the bottom part, and it's repeating the middle part. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn those on. Curve resolution, I turn that up to 3 or 4. Well, 3 to 5, but you know, it's just kind of 3 to 4. So I'm going to take this curve angle, I'm going to make it a max of 60. It could be different based on your project, whatever it is that you're doing. But now here's a different kind of rope for us. Okay. I was kind of a knucklehead and forgot to name it, so we're not going to save that. But here's what we're going to do. Yeah, because now that actual, like this part of the brush, if you look at it in here, I have ship rope, and then I have Polymesh 3D 1, whatever. Okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to save that just for the sake of call it rope 01. Okay, I'm going to actually go through and let's say, come over here to reset all brushes. So now, I mean, I should be able to come back in here. Let's go back to my insert. Yeah, so now I don't have that. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back in here and we're going to re-add it. Create insert mesh, append. Okay. Okay, so now we got to go through that same process. I guess it's already a stroke, so I don't need to worry about that. But I need to come down here to the modifiers. I need to turn on weld points, stretch, turn my curve resolution back up, and turn my max bend angle back up to 60 where I wanted it. Okay, so now I can come in here and I've got my rope back. Okay, and now if I come in here and hit M, you'll see I've got ship rope and I've got rope 1. Okay, that worked surprisingly much better than I thought it would. Now this looks more like, I'm not entirely sure what that looks like. It looks like somebody's bed sheets that they're trying to escape out the window at the orphanage or something with. But you know, whatever. To each their own, right? Really quickly, just because I don't want to lose it, I'm going to save the preset just to be able to keep track of it. I'm just going to keep it in my Sphinx folder so that I can get to it because it's related to that. Okay, so let's come over here. And I'm actually going to take this and let's scale it in like a lot. Okay. Just kind of mask this out. Mm-hmm. Okay, with this one, I think I want it to be drawn out like this. And this is important when you're creating these insert mesh brushes, so you want to think about how you want them drawn out. So let's come over here. I'm going to rename the piece. Let's title it Weave. No, let's title it Woven Border 1. Because, you know, because I don't really know why. But hopefully this will give us more of that look that I'm hoping to get. So let's come over here. Let's say create insert mesh brush, append, hit OK. Okay, so now I've got these 3 different parts. So now let's come back over to our basket, our lovely little basket. I'm gonna go back up to stroke. I'm gonna hit frame mesh to get that border, and then let's go ahead and tap on that. I obviously did not get quite exactly what I was hoping for, so because I want this to kind of shoot out the other direction. That, and I totally forgot to turn on weld parts, stretch, change up my curve resolution, change my bend angle. Okay, now I wonder if there's a way for me to be able to actually rotate this. Not that I can tell. Oh, that kind of worked. Let's take stroke. It seems like I have lock start turned on, so let's kind of play with that a little bit. All right, that's actually almost exactly what I was hoping for. I need it to be thicker, but that's looking really quite nice. Let's move it more into position. And then we'll go through and we'll perform a bit of an inflate on this, and then we'll hope for the best. Okay, let's come over here, deformation. Let's hit inflate some. Bah, humbug. All right, there we go. Bring that back. Okay, so there we go. I mean, that's in essence what it was that I was looking for. Go ahead and we'll do, this is how I like to go through and do my renders. Let's turn on our perspective just so that we get a good view of that basket. And then we'll come over here, let's hide that. Obviously got some things to go through and fix, but we'll get to that some other time. Let's go ahead and run a render on that. I'm just trying to make sure that I only have the weave bits active at the moment. Got like all the wrong songs from Moana stuck in my head. Not a bad movie, but be nice to have a bit more of a variety of songs to get stuck in my head. Let me see. Let's go ahead. I like to go ahead and change my render shadows, BPR shadows. I take the strength down to like 0.6 on each of these, and my angle up. I usually take it up to close to around 30-ish. Okay, so now when we go ahead and we hit BPR, it's going to give us a softer shadow in there. Okay. And so let's take that base to It's already got the dynamic turned on, so we just got to turn it up a little bit. Yeah, let's do something like that. That'll work. All right, we'll call that good. Okay, so those are just a couple of little tricks, things that I've learned, that I've appreciated, and things that I use on a regular basis to be able to, you know, quickly create detail. Hopefully that was helpful to you, and hope to be able to talk at you later. Take care.